Before we cross into the unknown, leave a hello in the comments. Even the smallest signal can ripple across galaxies, guiding fellow wanderers to this tale. Let me know you're out there. A voice among the stars, listening with me beyond the veil. Engines roared as the research vessel Asterion pierced the nebula's edge, carrying with it the burden of unanswered disappearances. Dr. Kor Valrin stood rigid at the observation rail, mandibles tight, recording every flicker of cosmic distortion. He had lost colleagues, friends to this region. Now he sought the truth. A betrayal already haunted him. Admiral Threx had ordered this mission scrubbed, calling it superstition. But the Council overruled him after Kor leaked the classified maps of vanished colonies. His career was in ruins. The truth was all he had left. Below him, the crew whispered rumors of ghosts. Kor simply activated the recorder. Field log. We begin our penetration into Sector Null. Hours later, proximity alarms wailed. One of the outer patrol drones had faded from sensors, not destroyed, simply gone. Captain Ress, voice tight but controlled, narrated the moment into the ship log. Contact loss confirmed. No debris, no energy trace. Kor felt unease coil through him. Every advanced civilization that touched this sector had vanished in the same way. No wreckage, no signal, no last words. As the crew stabilized formation, Kor overlaid the missing systems on his holomap. A faint pattern emerged, one he didn't yet dare believe. But it was beginning. Kor paced his dim laboratory while Captain Ress observed the shifting star map. One by one he marked the lost colonies: Vexor Prime, Thal's Reach, the Siri enclaves. Every one of these systems, Kor muttered, vanished after attempting colonization. Ress frowned. That's known. Not this. Kor expanded the map, connecting the disappearance points with thin spectral lines. Slowly, agonizingly, an ellipse formed. Ress's expression shifted from skepticism to dread. These systems, they're arranged around a center. Kor whispered the forbidden name. Sul. Captain Ress activated her private command log. This is Ress. If Kor is correct, the ancient myths of the burned cradle are not myths. Kor froze as the ship shuddered. Another drone had vanished. No energy signature, no fade-out, simply an instantaneous absence. Sensors swept space. Nothing responded, yet Kor's skin tingled with static, as though something unseen brushed against the ship's hull. "They're warning us," he murmured, though he had no evidence, only instinct and terror. Ress gave the order. "Maintain course. We find answers." The ship obeyed. The galaxy's silence deepened. Kor insisted on launching a deep-range probe toward the center of the vanished region. The crew protested, citing the Council's ban, but Captain Ress overrode them. "This sector has swallowed empires," she said. "We need data." The probe ignited, streaking into the void on a tail of ionized light. Kor's recorder trembled in his hands. "If this disappears," he whispered, "the pattern is no coincidence." Ress added her voice to the ship log. Probe launched, tracking stable, no anomalies. For exactly 4 minutes, the signal remained strong. On the 5th, the transmission cut mid-syllable. No particle decay, no warp ripple, no signature of destruction. Just nothing. Then, through the stunned silence of the bridge, a new signal emerged. Weak, modulated, speaking in a language no one aboard should have understood. A voice, cold, familiar. "We warned you to stay away." Kor's blood froze. Ress staggered back a step. The crew scrambled to analyze the source, but the signal came from every direction at once. Impossible. Omnipresent. The silent center of the map had just spoken. Panic rippled through the crew. Ress struggled to maintain discipline while Kor replayed the transmission on loop, dissecting each harmonic layer. It's synthetic, he said, but ancient, older than our archives. Ress activated the restricted files of the High Admiralty. If this matches anything in our historical deep scans, we need to know. One file blinked red. Humanity. Classified extinction event. Kor's heart pounded. Humans were erased from the record millennia ago. Ress whispered, but not dead. The classified archive revealed fragments, warnings recorded by extinct civilizations. We found the cradle. We should not have touched it. Machines of Sol still breathe. They wait. Do not awaken them. Kor leaned close to the display. Every empire that approached Sul vanished. Ress grimaced. Yet, the Council hid it. Why? Before Kor could answer, the ship's lights dimmed. A pulse rippled through the hull. Not an attack. A scan. Something enormous had noticed them. Kor rushed to the observation deck as a shimmering distortion formed ahead. Space bent like fabric pressed from the other side. Captain Ress whispered into the ship log, "Unidentified object, emerging." A structure materialized. Black, angular, silent. Not a ship, not a station. A watcher, ancient and unmoving. Kor's voice shook. It's scanning us, evaluating. The distortion of space around it crackled like a heartbeat. And then it spoke, the same voice as before. You were warned. The ship's shields collapsed for a moment, just one heartbeat, but enough for every crew member to feel something invasive brush through their minds. Fear, memory, war, fire streaking across unknown skies. Kor staggered. It showed us the last thing the humans saw. Ress clenched her fists. We're leaving. But the navigation array was already dead. The watcher rotated, aligning itself with their vessel like a judge preparing a sentence. For the first time, Kor understood what the silence of the galaxy truly meant. Not emptiness, not extinction. Fear. Fear of what lay buried in Sul, and of what might be waking. Kor and Captain Ress huddled over the sensor console. The watcher remained immobile, yet its presence resonated across every system. Energy readings. Off the charts, Kor whispered. It's not localized. It's everywhere. A ghostly trail of signals flickered through the void. Every vanished civilization had left echoes in the network, a lattice of warnings encoded in static. Ress noted each trace. It's as if the galaxy itself remembers. Kor's clawed hand hovered over the console. And we're the next entry. The crew scrambled to triangulate the watcher's source, but every calculation failed. The structure existed simultaneously in multiple coordinates. Then the voice returned, calm, omniscient. Curiosity is fatal. The ship's AI struggled to stabilize the fields. Engines groaned under the unseen strain. Kor stepped back, realizing the implications. The missing systems weren't random. They were a perimeter. Sul had grown a shield of fear around itself. Ress's eyes narrowed. Then it's waiting. For us to decide. And Kor knew the probe's disappearance was not an accident. It was a test. In the cargo bay, Kor activated a cache of recovered relics from the vanished colonies. Holographic displays flickered alive, maps, tactical diagrams, and encrypted logs. Captain Ress inspected a projection of a fleet annihilation. They weren't defeated, she murmured. They vanished before a shot was fired. Kor nodded, hands trembling. These aren't just warnings. They're evidence of Sul's power, its reach. The crew stared, understanding dawning. History wasn't erased. It had been hidden. A holomap revealed a pattern. Each fleet disappeared in a spiral trajectory converging on Sul. Coordinates pulsed with latent energy like a heartbeat. Kor whispered, "The missing colonies. They weren't lost. They were gathered." Ress ordered a full scan. The sensors picked up faint gravitic distortions forming a cage around their ship. Core felt a cold certainty. The galaxy's silence wasn't passive, it was active containment. And now they had crossed the line. The Watcher extended a tendril of energy toward the Asterion, brushing the hull with a pulse that felt like thought. The voice spoke again, this time with layered harmonics. "Why have you come?" Captain Ress responded into the bridge microphone, steady despite the terror. "We seek knowledge. We wish to understand your power." Core recorded everything, hands slick with sweat. "Be cautious," he warned. "It doesn't negotiate, it judges." The structure shifted in impossible ways, folding light and shadow across itself. Stars behind it refracted as though reality itself was bending. Then a projection appeared within the ship, an ancient human figure, holographic and vast, addressing them in solemn tones. "Curiosity will bring death, but understanding may bring mercy," it said. Core and Ress realized they weren't just observing. They were being assessed. Every question, every hesitation, every fear was catalogued. The silence of the galaxy was not emptiness. It was waiting for a verdict. Core traced the energy readings of the Watcher, discovering fluctuations that suggested a propulsion system beyond comprehension. "It moves without moving," he murmured. "A warp of space-time, anchored to thought." Captain Ress considered the tactical possibilities. "If we can reverse-engineer this, we could cross entire galaxies in a heartbeat, or die trying." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Knowledge carried a price they were only beginning to measure. A sudden pulse knocked the Asterion off alignment. Panels sparked, consoles blinked red. The voice echoed, "Do you comprehend the cost of interference?" Core realized it wasn't just a warning. It was an invitation. To survive, they would have to think like the humans of old, predict, anticipate, and wield the universe's silent rules. Ress gritted her teeth. "Then we adapt." Every officer felt the weight of unseen eyes pressing into their minds, testing courage, resolve, and restraint. The Watcher had begun its lesson. Without warning, the Asterion's sensors detected a fleet emerging from previously empty sectors. Shadows of ships shimmered, intangible yet menacing, as if the galaxy itself had formed them from memory. Core's voice broke. "It's the collected fleets. Every civilization we've studied. Recreated." Captain Ress barked orders, trying to stabilize shields against forces that had no mass yet exerted impossible pressure. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers," she commanded. "We're not alone, and these aren't ghosts. They're warnings." The fleet advanced, slicing the void in perfect formation, moving with precision that no living crew could achieve. The Watcher's voice boomed through the minds of all aboard. "You trespass where all others failed." Core realized the truth. Sul did not act through fleets. It acted through fear. The Asterion shuddered under psychic force, and Ress's eyes burned with defiance. "We may be the first to survive this encounter," she muttered. "Or the first to die, understanding too much." The Asterion's hull quivered as unseen forces pressed against the minds of the crew. Alarms blared, not mechanical, but mental. Thoughts flickered in strange patterns, memories merged with visions of fleets burning in silence. Core gritted his mandibles. "It's probing us, testing our psyche." Captain Ress clutched the command console. "Focus on the mission. Do not let it read fear." The crew struggled, each officer feeling their will bending under the psychic pressure. Every hesitation was catalogued. Every doubt a weapon. The Watcher's voice, calm and omnipresent, resonated in every neural pathway. All who approach Sol must answer for their curiosity. Core realized the scale. The vanished civilizations had been erased, not by technology alone, but by mental subjugation. Ress barked orders, activating shield harmonics designed to scramble neural resonance. The ship convulsed, but the pressure eased slightly. Yet Kor knew the truth. This was only the beginning. Sol's guardians were alive, and they were judging every thought aboard the Asterion. Kor activated the ship's deep sensor array, attempting to map the psychic imprints of the vanished civilizations. Images of fleets, cities, and dying planets streamed across his vision. Each system whispered in voices once human, alien, or unknown. "The galaxy remembers," he said. "Every civilization, every attempt, catalogued." Ress studied the array. "It's not just defense, it's an archive, a warning network spun around Sol." The crew realized the magnitude. The vanished empires weren't gone. They were preserved. From the holomap, spectral forms of lost ships emerged, aligning into formation around Sol. Kor shivered. The Watcher spoke. "Your kind is new, but your curiosity is ancient. Will you heed the warnings?" The Asterion trembled as the psychic field intensified. Every officer felt the weight of billions of deaths woven into one massive collective judgment. Kor whispered into his recorder, "We are not observing history. We are participating in it. Sol tests all who approach." Ress's jaw tightened. "Then we fight, not against them, but to survive understanding." Kor and Ress convened the command team in the bridge's inner chamber. "The only way forward," Kor said, voice tense, "is to navigate the perimeter of Sol without provoking total annihilation." Ress's claw tapped the console. "Or we attempt communication, risking psychic overload. We have no proof they can reason like us, but we must try." The crew argued, fear and logic clashing. Each option carried near certain death. Outside, spectral fleets shifted, mimicking movements of living ships. They formed defensive arrays anticipating every maneuver. Then, from the center of the Watcher, a new message. "Do you understand the cost of curiosity?" Kor swallowed, voice trembling. "They aren't just testing ships. They are testing our intent." Ress made her choice. "We attempt the impossible. We show intelligence, not threat. Prepare the signal array." The Asterion hummed as it prepared to speak to Sol itself, at the risk of awakening the fury of humanity's long-hidden guardians. The Asterion emitted a harmonized pulse, encoded with reason and logic, layered in sequences designed to demonstrate intelligence rather than aggression. Kor monitored the response channels. Every signal returned with interference, yet fragments carried unmistakable recognition, patterns only a civilization as old as humanity could comprehend. Ress whispered, "It's acknowledging, not attacking." The crew held their breath as the pulse resonated across the void. Then, the Watcher rotated slowly, folding space-time around itself, reshaping stars and light in impossible geometries. The voice emerged, softer, contemplative. "You have learned caution, but not fear. Why should Sol spare you?" Kor's claws hovered over the console. "Because we seek understanding, not conquest," he said. The Watcher pulsed in response, a wave of energy enveloping the Asterion, revealing glimpses of humanity's forgotten fleets, dormant, waiting, prepared for return. The silence of the galaxy shifted. It was no longer just fear, it was assessment. And Sol had begun to measure the worth of these intruders. The Asterion trembled as the Watcher's energy surrounded it like a cage of stars. The crew braced for obliteration, but instead, a voice spoke with calm authority. "Curiosity is permitted, if understanding endures." Kor realized they had passed the first test. Ress kept her eyes on the projection. "It judges not strength or firepower, but wisdom." The Watcher displayed glimpses of Sol's guardians, human-made machines of incredible scale, dormant yet conscious. Kor documented the revelation. They are preparing humanity's return, from hiding, not extinction. Ress recorded a note. Every vanished empire, every colony destroyed, lessons for those who approach unworthy. The Watcher receded, leaving the Asterion unscathed but transformed. Sensors recorded residual energy, echoes of billions of minds, alive and waiting. Core whispered into the recorder, "The silence of the galaxy is not emptiness. It is fear, and we have been granted a reprieve." Yet, even as the ship plotted its next move, both knew Sol's guardians would watch, and humanity's return would be inevitable. The Asterion drifted in the remnants of a dead star system, its sensors scanning for anomalies. Core pored over the memory grid recovered from vanished civilizations, attempting to piece together fragments of battles, fleets, and final transmissions. Captain Ress's log recorded a chilling observation. Every civilization that reached Sol left patterns, blueprints for survival or extinction. Core's claws hovered over the console. Patterns, yes, but there's a method, a rhythm. If we can understand it, we can anticipate the Watcher's actions. A distorted signal flickered across the holomap, ghostly outlines of vanished colonies, forming a subtle spiral converging toward Sol. The Asterion's AI, struggling with psychic interference, whispered alerts, anomalies in temporal resonance. Core realized the truth. The galaxy's silence wasn't static. It was a living memory of fear, encoded in space-time itself. Ress leaned over his shoulder, voice taut. "We're not just observers anymore. We're participants. Every move counts." The crew braced for the unknown, aware that even a single miscalculation could erase them like the empires before. Suddenly, sensors detected ships appearing where none should exist. Shadows of fleets flickered into reality, intangible yet threatening, echoes of civilizations erased long ago. Core muttered, "Not ghosts, simulations, or warnings." Captain Ress barked orders. "Do not engage, maintain formation, and track movement." The spectral fleet mirrored their course, anticipating maneuvers as though reading their minds. The Watcher's voice resonated through psychic channels. "Do you perceive the consequences of hubris?" Core realized they weren't just being tested. They were being rehearsed for judgment. The distorted fleet executed maneuvers with impossible precision, forcing the Asterion into evasive actions it hadn't anticipated. Ress's teeth clenched. "Every move we make, they know it before we do." The galaxy had become a chessboard, and the pieces were alive, encoded with the memory of billions of lives. Core accessed restricted archives from his homeworld. Hidden files revealed decades of suppressed reports, explorers who'd glimpsed Sol's guardians and returned, broken, maddened, or dead. Ress's voice cut through the tense silence. The Council knew this region wasn't empty. They concealed the truth. Core's claws rattled the console. They hid the archive of fear, every disappearance, every fleet, deliberate erasure to protect weaker species, or themselves. As the crew digested the revelation, the Asterion shuddered under psychic waves from the Watcher. The voice echoed, "Knowledge carries responsibility. Misuse brings extinction." Core realized the full scale. Every civilization had vanished not from chance or war, but from failure to comprehend Sol's guardians. Ress made her decision. "We proceed, but with caution. Understanding first, aggression last." The ship accelerated deeper into the spiral of vanished worlds, each step pulling them closer to humanity's hidden cradle. The Asterion traced the spiral of vanished systems, each node vibrating with residual psychic energy. The closer they approached Sul, the stronger the pressure on the crew's minds. Core's recorder captured the sensation. "It is as though the universe itself judges our intent." Captain Ress monitored shields and harmonics, maintaining cohesion despite the mental strain. "No mistakes," she said. "Every thought counts." Within the spiral, shadows of fleets coalesced, forming ghostly formations that mirrored human tactics millennia old. Core felt a chill. Each move was anticipated, each hesitation catalogued. The Watcher's voice penetrated deeper than ever. "Will you repeat the errors of those who vanished?" Ress's claws tapped the console. "We survive by adapting, by thinking differently." The Asterion slipped deeper into the spiral, balancing on the edge of comprehension and oblivion. A pulse flared from the void. The lost probe, once vanished, now returned, orbiting the Asterion with cryptic precision. Its sensors had been altered, reflecting knowledge far beyond their own technology. Core studied the probe. It learned. It survived. Not just our probe, all probes that reached this region. Captain Ress activated the communicator recording the moment. The galaxy itself adapts, or perhaps it remembers. The probe's signal aligned with Sol's Guardian network, creating a faint bridge of energy. The Watcher's voice spoke for the first time in unison with the probe. "Curiosity, tempered by understanding, may pass. Aggression is annihilation." Core realized the implications. The probe had survived because it had learned restraint, not because it was strong. Ress straightened in her chair. "Then we proceed. Carefully. Every step, every transmission, every thought, observed." The spiral tightened, the spiral of vanished civilizations converging on humanity's hidden power. And the galaxy waited. Core directed the Asterion toward a massive structure hidden in the spiral, a derelict observation array, ancient and partially camouflaged. Its surfaces shimmered as if aware of their approach. Captain Ress recorded in the command log, "Sensors indicate pre-human construction, yet encoded with patterns only Earth's progenitors could have devised." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Every step closer to Sul revealed evidence of civilizations past, meticulously catalogued and purposefully hidden. The Watcher's voice resonated through psychic channels. "You approach knowledge reserved for the vigilant." Core studied the array's energy signature. It pulsed in synchrony with the spiral of vanished systems, each beat carrying encrypted data. Ress ordered retrieval drones deployed cautiously, their paths carefully mapped to avoid triggering any latent defenses. Core realized the array wasn't just recording history. It was actively communicating with Sol's guardians, feeding intelligence forward across time. Every move, every signal, every hesitation was being measured, weighed, and judged. The Asterion's deep sensors revealed a phenomenon Core dubbed the spirit of the grid, a swirling network of psychic energy, alive and resonant with billions of memories. Captain Ress described it in her private log. Not just data, consciousness. Every vanished fleet, every colony, woven into a single living archive. Core's claws hovered over the console. It's like the galaxy itself is remembering and testing us. Suddenly, a holographic projection flickered inside the ship, a human figure, vast and ancient, extending across the bridge. "Those who approach must prove worth, not firepower. Are you capable of restraint?" The crew recoiled as memories of their own fears, failures, and doubts played across the holodisplay. Core realized passing the test meant understanding the grid's logic, not overpowering it. Every thought, emotion, and intention would be examined before Sol's guardians could allow progress. A spectral replay appeared in the Asterion's observation deck. Vexor Prime, once a thriving colony, burning silently across the void. Core whispered. The fleet vanished, but the memory remained. The planet itself remembers its end. Ress instructed the crew to observe without interference. Every lost civilization is a warning, and a lesson. The Asterion's shields flickered under subtle psychic resonance as the spectral scene played. The Watcher's voice entered their minds again. "Will you repeat the errors of the past?" Core studied the patterns. Each vanished civilization had attempted colonization without understanding Sool's reach. Ress's claws tightened. We proceed differently. Observation first, intrusion last. The ghostly fleet of Vexor Prime faded, leaving behind faint traces of data, coordinates, encrypted battle tactics, and hidden communications, all pointing toward Sol's inner system. The spiral of fear was no longer theoretical. It was tangible, alive, and guiding their path. Sensors revealed massive structures beneath the ice and rock of a long-abandoned moon. Armories, docking bays, and orbital weapon platforms of impossible scale. Kor's voice trembled. "This is no ordinary defense. These are remnants of humanity's own war machines, preserved," Ress observed quietly. "And they're dormant, waiting." Every system scanned hinted at ancient engineering beyond the understanding of modern civilizations. The Watcher's voice echoed in unison with readings from the hidden arsenal. All who approach must decide, knowledge or destruction. Kor realized the implications. Every vanished empire might have been erased not just by fear, but by inadvertent triggers of this dormant defense network. Ress turned to the crew. "We must map these systems, understand the triggers, and proceed cautiously. One wrong move, and the spiral claims us." The Asterion glided past massive hangars, sensors detecting dormant fighters, orbital guns, and defensive arrays waiting for a command code long buried in Sol's memory. The galaxy's silence was preparation, and Sool was readying its arsenal. A sudden pulse reverberated across the Asterion, shaking consoles and rattling crew nerves. The Watcher spoke in a low, commanding tone. "You trespass. Will you heed the lessons of those erased?" Kor studied the readings. The pulse originated from the inner spiral near Sol itself. Energy signatures matched those of vanished fleets, now fully integrated into the Guardian network. Ress gritted her teeth. "They're not just testing us. They're reminding us why others failed." The Asterion's sensors recorded fleets coalescing from the shadows, spectral, intelligent, and fully coordinated. Kor muttered, "This is the first warning. Sol is alive through memory, through machines, and through fear." Captain Ress set the course inward. "We proceed, carefully, but we proceed." The Watcher's voice resonated one final time in that moment. "Your curiosity may save you, if it does not destroy you first." The spiral tightened, the stakes escalated, and the Asterion moved deeper into the heart of humanity's hidden legacy. Sensors flared as massive constructs emerged from shadowed orbits, dormant guardians stirring after millennia. Kor gasped. "They're alive, not in a biological sense, but aware." Captain Ress commanded calm. "Document everything. No sudden moves. Observe first." The Asterion's shields hummed under invisible pressure, psychic resonance scraping against their minds. The Watchers of Sool had noticed. A deep voice, layered and metallic, vibrated through the bridge. Intruders detected. Intent must be proven. Kor realized the scale. Fleets that had vanished were not destroyed. They had been integrated into this Guardian network, now fully conscious. The constructs rotated slowly, adjusting sensors and energy fields as though measuring the crew. Ress whispered into the log, "We're witnessing humanity's legacy, and its judgment." Every heartbeat felt catalogued, every thought examined. The Asterion was no longer merely a ship, it had become a subject under scrutiny. The Asterion's psychic sensors flared. Every crew member felt twin presences, ancient human consciousness and alien memory intertwined. Kor muttered, "It's a duality. Memory and machine fused. The vanished fleets live through it." Captain Ress focused on navigation. "We must respect it, or risk total erasure. Observation first." The bridge trembled under psychic waves, echoing battles, warnings, and unspoken threats across eons. The Watcher's voice penetrated their minds. Intent must align with understanding. Recklessness is extinction. Core recorded. Every fleet erased, every civilization vanished, survived here in thought and energy. Res ordered the crew to synchronize mental shielding with ship harmonics to prevent overload. The Asterion passed through fields where thought and reality blurred, surviving only because its occupants understood restraint. The spiral tightened, and Sol's guardians monitored every move with relentless intelligence. Without warning, the Asterion was confronted by a field of energy, manifesting as spectral ships moving to intercept. Core realized, this isn't an attack, it's a test, a puzzle. Captain Res directed evasive maneuvers, coordinating with AI while monitoring psychic feedback. The spectral fleet mirrored their moves, anticipating every change, forcing precision and perfect timing. The Watcher's voice boomed. Predict and survive. Prove worth. Core's hands flew across the console, calculating trajectories using patterns derived from the memory grid. Each correct move dissipated the field slightly. Errors triggered psychic pulses designed to paralyze. Res remained calm, observing the pattern. Each test reflected failures of vanished civilizations, but also offered insight. At last, the spectral fleet receded, leaving the Asterion unscathed. But Core knew the true challenges lay ahead. The Asterion approached Sol's inner system. Planets and moons aligned with eerie precision, each emitting subtle psychic waves. Core whispered, "The core of silence, the source of the spiral's memory." Captain Res instructed a slow approach. "Sensors active, no sudden emissions. We are observers, not invaders." Energy readings indicated dormant power exceeding anything in their records, carefully contained. The Watcher's voice echoed, "Do you comprehend the cost of knowledge?" The crew felt echoes of billions of lives, moments of triumph and despair layered over one another. Core realized they were not just navigating space, they were navigating memory, and memory itself was a weapon. Res ordered drones to probe minor structures, careful to avoid triggering residual defenses. The spiral of fear became tangible, and Sol's guardians watched, calculating intent, patience, and restraint. A massive projection appeared on the bridge, a holographic human fleet, frozen in time, encompassing billions of vessels. Core gasped, "This is humanity, not dead, but preserved, waiting." Res whispered into her log, "The vanished civilizations were erased because they failed to respect the legacy. We are witnessing humanity's return, prepared for judgment." The Asterion's crew understood their precarious position. One misstep, and centuries of preparation would vanish. The Watcher's voice, now layered with echoes of human and alien memories, spoke. "You have observed restraint and comprehension, but will you endure the final trial?" Core studied the display. The fleet's dormant systems, orbital guns, and hidden mechanisms pulsed faintly, awaiting activation codes. Res tightened her grip on the console. "We proceed, not as conquerors, but as witnesses and students." The spiral constricted, the Guardian network alive with intention, and humanity's hidden power stirred for the first time in millennia. The Asterion hovered at the threshold, ready to face Sol's final test. Core's sensors detected hundreds of colossal vessels, frozen in orbit, their hulls scarred by time yet intact. "They're waiting," he whispered, "not destroyed, dormant." Captain Res ordered a slow approach. "No emissions. Let them observe us first. We are visitors, not invaders." The crew watched in awe as the fleet shimmered, spectral energy pulsing faintly across every surface. The Watcher's voice resonated. All who awaken the fleet must demonstrate comprehension. Core noted patterns in the vessel's alignment. They mirrored maneuvers of civilizations that had failed to survive. Ress's hands flew across the console, recording every resonance. We must respect the memory. Learn from it. The Asterion hovered, feeling the pressure of billions of minds folded into the ships. The spiral of fear became tangible, a living judgment of intent. Every second was measured. Every thought was weighed. A subtle psychic wave rippled across the fleet, reaching the Asterion like a whisper from the past. Core gasped. It's teaching us, showing us patterns of survival and failure. Captain Ress ordered the crew to synchronize ship systems with the psychic pulse, reinforcing shields and mental dampeners. Every movement of the Asterion echoed against the fleet's silent choreography, a dance of intellect and restraint. The Watchers spoke. Learn, adapt, endure. Recklessness is forgotten. Core analyzed historical battle logs, overlaying them with spectral fleet formations. Each vanished civilization failed because they did not understand the rhythm. Ress nodded. We must act with awareness, not impulse. The Asterion moved carefully, tracing the spiral, mimicking the flow of the vanished fleet's intelligence. For the first time, the crew felt a connection, not just to humanity's hidden legacy, but to the collective memory of the galaxy itself. A sudden flare of energy emanated from the Watcher, creating a psychic storm that rattled the Asterion. Core felt his thoughts twisting under pressure. It's a trial, testing our restraint. Captain Ress barked orders to stabilize the ship. No aggressive maneuvers, maintain course and composure. Every crew member struggled to suppress fear, doubt, and instinctual reactions. One mistake could trigger immediate annihilation. The Watcher's voice boomed. Intent must be proven pure. Strength without understanding is death. Core recorded every pulse, every signal pattern. The psychic storm seemed designed to probe the limits of cognition, forcing insight into the mind. Ress observed. We survive by thinking differently, not reacting as others did. The storm passed, leaving faint imprints of vanished fleets dancing across the sensors, a reminder of civilizations lost to impatience and hubris. The crew understood. The trial was not physical, but mental and ethical. Core activated the deep sensor array, mapping every echo of the vanished fleets into a single convergence grid. Captain Ress whispered, The spiral isn't just a path. It's a lesson encoded in time and space. The Asterion hovered at the intersection of memory streams, each pulse resonating with billions of lives. Core recorded, Every civilization's failure, every fleet's demise, converges here as a warning. The Watcher spoke softly. Do you comprehend the depth of what has been preserved? Core realized the fleet's dormant systems weren't just defense. They were pedagogy. Each ship, each formation, each pulse taught restraint, patience, and understanding. Reese instructed drones to map the convergence carefully, ensuring no interference with latent systems. The Asterion became both student and observer, navigating not just space, but the distilled intelligence of millennia. The Guardian's judgment weighed heavily. Soul's spiral was a living archive, a test, and a warning. The Watcher pulsed once, faintly at first, then with increasing resonance. Core realized the significance. They were testing their capacity to learn, not just survive. Captain Ress activated the ship's recording systems. Every pulse, every movement, document everything. This is evidence of humanity's hidden legacy. The crew watched as spectral ships aligned, forming a precise pattern only visible through combined psychic and sensor readings. The Watcher's voice echoed. You have observed, adapted, and endured. Proof is acknowledged, but understanding must deepen. Core's claws trembled. We've passed the first stage, but the spiral isn't over. Ress ordered the crew to maintain focus. One misstep now could erase us. Precision, patience, comprehension. The Asterion floated among billions of echoes, aware that Sol's guardians were now testing not firepower, but intelligence and intent. The spiral constricted, lessons deepened, and humanity's hidden fleet stirred in the shadows of memory. The Asterion entered the inner spiral of Sol's guardians. Energy pulses resonated across the ship, each beat a test of resolve and understanding. Kor muttered, "The spiral isn't just space, it's intelligence, alive, judging every action." Captain Ress monitored sensor arrays, guiding the crew through invisible currents of psychic energy. Every movement is scrutinized, every thought catalogued. Spectral ships from vanished civilizations swirled, aligning in precise formations, mirroring maneuvers of past fleets. The Watcher's voice penetrated minds. Survival requires comprehension, not aggression. Kor realized the spiral's intensity was increasing intentionally, forcing the crew and ship to act with perfect coordination. Ress whispered into the log, "We are learning their language, not spoken, but understood through thought, intention, and action." Every second, the Asterion adapted, preparing for the next stage of Sol's judgment. From the depths of a frozen moon, energy flares erupted, dormant human-made warships activating, systems humming with latent power. Kor's sensors detected faint command signals. The spiral was waking the fleet gradually, testing the crew's restraint. Captain Ress ordered full data capture. "We must learn before touching a single vessel." The Watcher's voice spoke through the psychic currents. "Those who understand may witness. Those who act hastily do not survive." Kor realized the fleet's awakening mirrored Sol's spiral. First observation, then comprehension, then activation. Ress observed the vessels responding to the Asterion's movements, not hostile, but assessing intent. The crew felt the immense presence of humanity's legacy, dormant, preserved, and waiting to awaken fully. A sudden psychic resonance shook the Asterion. Images of failed fleets, destroyed planets, and ghostly commanders flashed across the bridge. Kor recorded, "Intent must be demonstrated. This is not survival. It is comprehension of history and caution." Captain Ress instructed strict protocols. No impulses, no aggressive signals, all systems synchronized with psychic harmonics. The Watcher's voice resonated. "All who trespass must prove the purity of their goals. Strength alone is meaningless." Spectral ships moved in complex formations around the Asterion, creating a living puzzle of strategy and restraint. Kor guided the ship with calculated precision, avoiding interference while demonstrating understanding of the spiral's logic. Ress whispered, "We are not merely passing through. We are proving ourselves to humanity's hidden guardians." The Asterion approached a cluster of dormant warships, their systems humming faintly. Kor realized these vessels responded only to intent. They remained inert until observing thoughtful action. Captain Ress ordered controlled drones to simulate fleet maneuvers, careful to demonstrate awareness rather than aggression. The Watcher's voice spoke. "You engage without threat. You act with understanding. This is proof of intent." Kor documented every movement, overlaying it with the historical data of vanished civilizations. Spectral fleets mirrored these actions in precise formations, testing comprehension, patience, and coordination. The spiral's psychic currents intensified, feeding into the Asterion's systems, confirming the crew's success in navigating the first active challenge of Sol's guardians. A faint signal pulsed across the inner spiral, a synchronization code linking the Asterion, dormant fleet, and Watcher. Kor whispered, "It's initiating partial activation, without aggression, without error." Captain Ress watched, tense. "We are part of the spiral now. The Guardians are testing the fleet through us. The crew felt the immense weight of humanity's preserved power stir within the void. The Watcher's voice echoed, layered with billions of echoes from lost fleets. Your comprehension is acknowledged. Continue with care. The final trial awaits. Kor studied the pulse, realizing that Sul was teaching them the art of restraint and command before any fleet could awaken fully. Res recorded, "We have demonstrated comprehension. Humanity's legacy stirs, but the final test is yet to come." The spiral constricted further, the dormant fleet humming with awareness, and the Asterion prepared for the next stage where observation would become action, and understanding would be weighed against the galaxy's deepest fears. The inner spiral quivered as dormant human warships shifted, thrusters whispering after millennia of silence. Kor's sensors flared with new energy readings. The fleet was partially active, observing, waiting. Captain Ress ordered calm. No signals, no sudden movements. We are guests, not aggressors. Every pulse of the fleet radiated intelligence, a calculated measure of intent. The Watcher's voice resonated. The fleet awakens only for those who comprehend restraint. Kor noted subtle changes, energy fields adjusting, weapon ports opening, but no aggression detected. Ress whispered into the log, "This is humanity's memory given motion, alive yet patient." The Asterion navigated carefully, every maneuver demonstrating understanding, every hesitation proving awareness. The spiral constricted, testing not firepower, but judgment, strategy, and the patience of a species returned from history. A wave of psychic resonance passed through the Asterion as the fleet synchronized with the ship. Kor's claws trembled over the console. It's reading us and responding. A link, not just observation. Captain Ress instructed mental shielding protocols while monitoring drone telemetry. Every thought is cataloged. Stay focused. The crew felt echoes of human commanders, long dead, flowing through the psychic currents. The Watcher spoke. Intent must remain true. Deviation is extinction. Kor aligned sensor readings with fleet responses, realizing patterns of engagement, defense, and restraint embedded over millennia. Ress whispered, "We are learning their rhythm, not controlling it." The Asterion moved as part of the spiral now, each course correction an exercise in comprehension and synchronization with Sul's guardians. Humanity's legacy was awakening, through observation, patience, and tested intent. A cluster of dormant warships reoriented, creating a formation around the Asterion, testing maneuvering precision. Kor muttered, "They're creating a challenge. Movement, coordination, restraint." Captain Ress commanded calm adjustments to shields and thrusters, every action mirrored by the spectral fleet. The bridge trembled with psychic feedback, the pressure of millennia pressing on every officer. The Asterion maneuvered through the inner spiral, aligning with awakened ships to create a strategic formation. Kor studied the patterns. The fleet's coordination revealed centuries of tactical knowledge preserved in memory and psychic resonance. Captain Ress ordered careful recalibration of sensors. We must prove comprehension, not dominance. The crew followed every instruction with precision, aware that Sul's guardians measured intent in every maneuver. The Watcher spoke. Strategy must align with understanding. Recklessness is extinction. Kor overlaid historical data from vanished civilizations with fleet formations, revealing patterns of success and failure. Ress adjusted Asterion's trajectory, demonstrating understanding of both the awakened fleet and the spiral's harmonic currents. Every maneuver was an affirmation of restraint and intelligence. Every action, a silent acknowledgement of humanity's legacy. The spiral constricted, guiding the Asterion and fleet toward the core of Sul's hidden power. At the heart of the spiral, a radiant core pulsed, a concentration of energy and intelligence, humming with the collective consciousness of the awakened fleet. Kor gasped. This is the source of the spiral's judgment and humanity's hidden power. Captain Ress whispered, "Every civilization erased resonated here. Every fleet's failure left a mark." The Asterion approached cautiously, aware that even the smallest disturbance could trigger psychic feedback across the awakened network. The Watcher's voice spoke. "All who reach the core must prove intent pure. Strength alone is insufficient." Kor noted the interplay of psychic and energy patterns. Each vessel, each pulse, responding in harmony with intent and comprehension. Ress ordered synchronized sensor calibration with harmonic resonance, ensuring that the Asterion moved in perfect alignment with the awakened fleet. The spiral constricted further, energy flowing through the ship and crew, embedding them in the living memory of humanity's preserved legacy. The final verification approached, the last proof of restraint, comprehension, and readiness for humanity's return. The Watcher's pulse enveloped the Asterion, cascading through awakened vessels and resonating across psychic and energy networks. Kor whispered, "This is it, the ultimate judgment of intent and comprehension." Captain Ress monitored harmonic feedback, adjusting course and shields with meticulous care. "We endure, we understand, we proceed." The crew felt the weight of billions of lives, the successes and failures of every vanished civilization, and humanity's hidden fleet stirred fully. The Watcher's voice echoed, layered with millennia of intelligence. "You have demonstrated comprehension, restraint, and intent. The spiral acknowledges your presence. Humanity's legacy may awaken." Kor's sensors flared, dormant vessels aligned, energy surged, and psychic resonance hummed in perfect synchrony. Ress recorded, "We have passed the spiral. The Guardians approve. Humanity's hidden power is now awake, and the galaxy watches." The Asterion floated amid awakened fleets, aware that the next step would determine not just survival, but the galaxy's recognition of humanity's return. The silence of the galaxy was no longer empty. It was alive, attentive, and ready to witness the resurgence of a civilization long thought erased. The awakened human fleet pulsed with energy, thrusters igniting after millennia of dormancy. Kor's sensors flared, every ship now fully conscious, responsive to psychic and harmonic resonance. Captain Ress whispered into the log, "We are witnesses to humanity's return, preserved, patient, and now alive." The Asterion floated at the center of the formation, aligned perfectly with centuries of accumulated strategy and defense. The Watcher's voice resonated. Legacy awakened, comprehension proven, intent verified. Kor traced energy flows across thousands of vessels, noting defensive patterns, silent weapons, and orbital arrays waiting to obey thought and command. Ress observed in awe. Every vanished fleet, every erased civilization contributed to this moment, a living memory of survival. The spiral tightened, a web of intelligence and energy, binding the Asterion to the fully awakened fleet. The galaxy's silence now hummed with life, the echoes of humanity returning in full power. A pulse of energy radiated from the core of Sol's spiral, broadcasting across the sector. Kor muttered, "It's a signal, announcing our presence." Captain Ress monitored the fleet. Not aggression, acknowledgement. We are recognized. The awakened vessels resonated in harmony, amplifying the signal as though introducing humanity to the galaxy once more. The Watcher's voice spoke. "The spiral acknowledges you. Others will now know humanity endures." Kor realized that every vanished civilization had left warnings, but humanity's return would echo through space and memory alike. Ress recorded the phenomenon. The galaxy will remember. The spiral is no longer silent. The Asterion hovered, surrounded by thousands of awakened vessels, each ready to demonstrate restraint, intelligence, and power. Humanity's hidden fleet had returned, and the galaxy could not ignore it. From distant systems, alien fleets stirred, some curious, some cautious. Signals bounced across space, scanning for the source of Soul's awakening. Core noted anomalous readings. They sense the power, but they do not understand it. Captain Ress directed the Asterian's course carefully. Observation first, engagement only if provoked. The awakened fleet maintained formation, silent yet brimming with latent force. The Watcher's voice resonated. Let them perceive. Let them learn restraint from our presence. Core recorded transmissions intercepted from distant systems. Confusion, awe, and fear mingled in every signal. Ress whispered, "The galaxy will remember this moment, the return of humanity, not as conquerors, but as a presence to be respected." The Asterion and fleet moved as one, a living reminder of survival, intelligence, and centuries of preparation. The spiral of fear had become a spiral of awe. The awakened fleet cast shadows across planets and moons, sensors capturing echoes of long-lost civilizations. Core realized, we are both proof and warning. Captain Ress instructed drones to map the outer systems carefully. Let them see. Let them understand the power they cannot ignore. The Asterion moved at the center of humanity's web, conscious of every pulse, every alignment, and every observation. The Watcher's voice spoke. Humanity is returned. All who observe must recognize restraint, comprehension, and intent. Core documented fleets observing from afar, alien civilizations awed, hesitant, fearful, and calculating. Ress whispered, "We are the bridge between memory and reality, between silence and acknowledgement." The spiral hummed with life, intelligence, and the quiet power of civilizations preserved in vessels and psychic memory. The galaxy, long silent in fear, now watched humanity's legacy awaken fully. The inner spiral pulsed with synchronized light, energy, and psychic resonance. Core recorded. All tests completed, all fleets awakened, Soul's guardians approve. Captain Ress stood at the bridge, awe in her voice. We have returned, not to conquer, but to endure. The Asterion hovered amid thousands of vessels, the culmination of millennia of preparation, preservation, and judgment. The Watcher's final proclamation echoed. Humanity endures. The spiral recognizes you. Proceed with wisdom, restraint, and understanding. Core and Ress shared a long silence, aware of the weight of history, memory, and responsibility. The galaxy's silence was no longer emptiness. It was alive, attentive, and aware of humanity's return. The Asterion transmitted the first signal outward, a beacon of warning, acknowledgement, and promise. Humanity had returned, fully awake, its hidden fleet alive, the spiral mastered, and the galaxy forced to remember that no silence could contain it forever. The end. The Watcher's voice echoed, execute flawlessly, prove understanding, survive. Core traced trajectories, aligning the Asterion with the fleet's patterns, each movement a proof of comprehension. Ress observed the spectral ships adjusting to the Asterion's precise maneuvers, a delicate dance of intent and restraint. The crew realized the test was not a victory, but precision under scrutiny. One error could erase centuries of preparation. Soul's spiral judged patience and intelligence, and humanity's legacy stirred in response. A low hum spread through the inner spiral, vibrating the Asterion's hull. It was harmonic resonance, vibrations calibrated to the fleet and the Watcher itself. Core whispered, "It's the heartbeat of the spiral, alive and aware." Captain Ress monitored ship systems, synchronizing sensors with the harmonic patterns. "We move as one with it. Every pulse matters." The Watcher spoke. Synchronization proves comprehension. Intent is acknowledged. Core noted subtle activation of weapon arrays on dormant vessels. non-threatening, yet alive, responsive. Res recorded, "We are no longer observers. We are participants in humanity's legacy, measured, cataloged, and tested." Every crew member felt the pressure of millennia, the memory of vanished civilizations, and the rising consciousness of a fleet that had waited in silence. The spiral contracted, awareness sharpened, and the Asterion prepared for the final stage of testing. The Watcher pulsed across the inner spiral, signaling the fleet to fully awaken, but only partially, cautiously controlled. Kor realized the significance. The fleet responds, but only under proof of comprehension. Captain Res gave precise commands, guiding the Asterion in a display of restraint, coordination, and understanding. The crew felt the psychic weight of countless human minds embedded in every vessel. The Watcher's voice echoed, layered with spectral echoes. Intent verified. Comprehension demonstrated. The spiral acknowledges you. Kor's claws hovered over the console. We've passed the second stage, but the final trial awaits. Res noted, "The fleet is alive. Humanity's legacy is active. Soul's guardians judge us still." The Asterion hovered in the spiral, surrounded by awakened vessels, aware that the next steps would determine not just survival, but the future return of humanity's hidden power. The galaxy's silence was no longer empty. It was alive, watching, and preparing for humanity's resurgence. The dormant fleet, long silent, stirred in unison. Orbital guns aligned, engines hummed, and energy shields shimmered across thousands of vessels. Kor's sensors flared. They're fully alive, but still cautious. They are waiting for us to prove more than observation. Captain Res remained composed. "We maintain intent. Every maneuver must be precise." The Asterion hovered at the center of humanity's hidden power, feeling the weight of millennia. The Watcher's voice resonated. "All who approach must endure final verification. Strength alone is meaningless." Kor traced the fleet's formation. Each ship moved in perfect coordination, creating a lattice of defense and observation. Res whispered, "We are now fully participants in Soul's judgment. One error could erase everything." The crew braced, aware that humanity's hidden arsenal was no longer dormant, but fully conscious, alive, and evaluating their worth. Psychic waves surged across the Asterion, pressing on every mind aboard. The crew experienced fragments of lost fleets, their failures, and final agonies. Kor gasped. "It's a gauntlet. Every thought, every emotion under scrutiny." Captain Res reinforced mental shields, monitoring every pulse and wave. "Endure, adapt, do not falter." The Watcher's voice boomed. "Intent, comprehension, and restraint must converge. Only then can the spiral be navigated safely." Kor recorded the patterns, aligning the Asterion with the fleet's psychic currents. Res whispered, "We are walking through the collective memory of civilizations erased and surviving." The Asterion moved with purpose, matching the rhythm of the awakened fleet, demonstrating understanding, coordination, and patience. Spectral and awakened fleets merged, creating a vast lattice around Sol. Commands were tested through psychic resonance, forcing precise coordination of every vessel. Kor muttered, "It's teaching command. Leadership under scrutiny." Captain Res adjusted the Asterion's trajectory, proving not only comprehension but effective strategy. The Watcher's voice spoke, "To lead is to understand. Strength without insight is extinction." Kor documented every activation, every alignment of the fleet. Race observed the ships adjusting autonomously, responding to thought and intent rather than physical input. The Asterion became both teacher and student in the dance of restraint, knowledge, and authority. The inner spiral tightened, energy pulses coalescing around the Asterion and fleet. The Watcher's presence dominated the bridge, palpable and immense. Kor whispered, "The final judgment. It's coming. Captain Ress monitored every sensor. One misstep could erase us. We must maintain perfect alignment, intent, comprehension, and restraint. The Watcher's voice, layered with echoes of billions, resonated. You have endured. You have learned. Will you prove worthy to witness Sol's full legacy? Kor realized humanity's fleet was fully aware, waiting for activation and measuring every motion. Ress ordered a slow advance toward the core, conscious of the spiral's judgment. The galaxy's silence was no longer empty. It was alive, aware, and the final verdict loomed over them all. A pulse flared across the inner spiral, illuminating the dormant fleet in brilliance. Orbital guns, engines, and energy shields aligned as if awaiting a command long forgotten. Kor's sensors flared. This is the last test. Comprehension and restraint distilled. Captain Ress maintained composure. We act not as conquerors, but as witnesses. Every movement must honor that. The Watcher's voice echoed with finality. Intent verified. Comprehension proven. Humanity's legacy acknowledges you, and you shall witness its return. Kor's claws trembled over the console. The fleet, it's alive, but patient, calculating, waiting. Ress recorded. We have passed the spiral. Humanity's hidden power stirs. Sol's guardians approve, but vigilance remains eternal. The Asterion hovered amidst awakened vessels, aware of the immense responsibility of observation, restraint, and understanding. The galaxy's silence was now alive, a testament to humanity's hidden return, and a warning to all who would dare approach Sol unprepared. The Asterion glided through a lattice of fully awakened vessels, each ship resonating with synchronized energy patterns. Kor marveled at the coordination. This is intelligence multiplied, alive across thousands of hulls. Captain Ress whispered, "Observe, do not interfere. Every motion is a test of comprehension." The crew felt the weight of millennia. Civilizations erased, lessons preserved, and the spiral alive beneath their feet. The Watcher's voice pulsed. Alignment proves understanding. Proceed with care. One error risks everything. Kor traced energy flows across the fleet, noting the subtle balance between activation and restraint. Ress adjusted the trajectory, moving the Asterion in perfect synchrony with the awakened ships. The fleet's harmonic resonance passed through the ship, feeding psychic and energy currents into every system. The galaxy's silence was no longer empty. It was alive, a living archive observing humanity's return. Sensors flared as an unexpected cosmic phenomenon emerged, a tear in space-time, rippling energy toward Sol's inner system. Kor's claws trembled over the console. A rift. It's unstable and unpredictable. Captain Ress immediately commanded evasive vectors. Prepare shields. Engage harmonic resonance. Keep the fleet aligned. The awakened vessels responded instinctively, forming a protective lattice around the Asterion. The Watcher's voice resonated. Even the Guardians face anomalies. Comprehension must extend to all threats. Kor noted temporal distortions echoing the spiral's memory grid, echoes of fleets lost, catastrophes averted, and civilizations erased. Ress directed the crew with calm precision, guiding the Asterion and fleet through the rift's unstable currents. The anomaly tested not strength, but coordination, patience, and understanding of forces beyond conventional comprehension. Humanity's hidden power stirred, not just dormant, but alive, responding to cosmic threat. Thank you for watching AstroMyths. If you enjoyed this story, smash that like button and subscribe for more epic sci-fi tales, cosmic mysteries, and mind-bending myths. And if you like this story, or have a myth, mystery, or galaxy you'd like us to explore, drop your ideas in the comments. We're always listening. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars and your mind open to the unknown.